welcome to episode number 16 of the Let's Go Comic Show. My name is Justin.
I'm Matt.
How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great because we're not alone.
We are not alone.
I'm actually doing okay when we're alone, too.
But he's all went to see you. It's really creepy. But this time, we have brought our good friend, our good buddy, my best pal, Kelly the Cairns. Kelly the Carnage Cairns. How you doing, buddy?
I'm good.
I'm so glad that you're here.
Happy to be part of the comic show because I'm not a comic guy.
Your geek cred is like...
I know. I'm
skyrocketing.
hitting the fan right now.
I'm gonna take you to the comic shop on Wednesday.
But it's actually second fiddle today because
sorry,
we have
special.
other people that are more special than you. I'm sorry.
Yes, not just our rad friends, but our
rad wives.
All right, so welcome to the show, our wonderful wives, the Amazons, to our Steve Trevors.
Wow, thanks.
Amazon's that's a good thing.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like, why'd you call me an Amazon? All right, so if you ladies can just get up on that mic. Yeah, girl. Okay, so tell us your names. Tell us your names.
Sorry. Burgundy.
Kristi. Brittany Ritchie.
Yay! So
I think Kristi fell off a cliff. Kristi! We lost Kristi.
She's gone. So,
Guys, I'm not going to
man.
lie. I've had half a beer, so
she's had half a beer.
Oh.
y'all
half
are
a
in
beer.
trouble.
She's a lightweight.
She's a
Big
lightweight.
time. It's going to be fun.
Okay, so let's just do this. So this is part 2 of our Let's Go Wonder Woman crossover a go-go. So if you have not listened to the Let's Go proper episode number 38, you are going to get spoiled on some Wonder Woman. So I'm hoping, A, you've listened to that show and subscribed and left a great comment on iTunes for us. That would
Me
be
too.
amazing.
I really hope that too.
Please do that. Do that. That helps us out a lot. It gets us up on the rankings. But also, you won't enjoy this show as much. And so what we're going to do to kick the show off, though, because we are going to rate this Wonder Woman movie on this show, but we need help with the ratings. So does any of the girls want to step up to the plate and tell us about our rating system? How much were you guys paying attention last time?
I'll give it a go.
Okay. Well, that's one of them. Okay.
Well, that's one of them.
I don't-
I got
Yeah,
one
hey,
already.
Okay, so let's...
You're only going to give it a go?
Yeah. So what do you got?
Sorry.
What you got?
Okay, so I don't know if it's going to be word for word what you
We'll
guys
correct
call
you.
it. Okay. So I remember Kelly said it's a 5-point scale system.
Mm-hmm.
So what's the worst?
The worst is don't go.
Mm-hmm.
Never go. Thank you.
Don't ever go.
Oh, my God.
Never.
Don't ever.
Never go. Don't go. Go. Let's go. Gotta go.
Yeah.
Yes.
I totally had
Like
it.
the show's Let's Go.
Nailed it.
But not everything is a gotta go. Not it's like, hey, gotta go.
You got to go to this.
Yeah. Sometimes it's like,
It's like,
oh.
let's just go. Let's go. Let's
It's
see what
not
happens.
a.
Sometimes
you gotta
it's-
go.
Okay, so
It's
what's a good example?
You gotta go.
That's different.
Like a never go would be like Halle Berry Catwoman, right? That would be a never go. Then
Okay.
a go could be Jennifer Garner, Elektra. It was all right. It wasn't that good, right? But then like a let's go would be like, oh, you know what was kind of good?
Alicia Silverstone in
Clueless.
Batman and Robin.
Yes.
And then you'd be like, that's not true, Matt Ritchie. Then Matt Ritchie would be like, she had a lot of cool outfits.
That'll make sense if you listen to the
Man, my good name.
podcast.
Oh, man.
Just
No, but
dragged through the mud.
like a let's go. Is that what we're talking about? Let's go could be maybe Scarlett Johansson as Salt. That was kind of okay, right?
Okay.
I didn't see it. And
As
then
what?
Wasn't Angelina Jolie?
Angelina Jolie was
Jolie
Salt, but that's
Salt.
that's
fine.
right. What's her face in? She was in
Scarlett Johansson has been Marvel movies. I don't know
No,
if
she
you've
was
seen those.
Black Widow. But no, she did a movie where she was by herself. It was
The
like
lady name where she
Lady
becomes
name.
a computer.
Lady
Where she's a computer.
Lucy.
Lucy.
Yeah.
Lucy.
Well, that was a great explanation of everybody's feeling on that.
to that.
Wow, we feel
got
super
serious
confident on the
mud.
rating system.
So we'll figure out by the end of this show what Wonder Woman was. And so then that's why we're here for part 2 of our Wonder Woman episodes. And so in this episode, we are just going to get into all types of spoilers and things. We don't care if you watched it anymore. Now it's your fault.
Yep.
Now we're just going to start saying stuff. We're going to be like, oh, remember when Wonder Woman did this? That's what's going to happen.
It's been 2 weeks. It's your problem now.
Yeah, it's been out for 2 weeks, number one. 2 weeks
Number
in a row.
1, 2 weeks,
2
in,
weeks
a row. What are you doing with your life?
Yeah, take that, Tom Cruise. So we're just going to jump into spoilers, everybody. Let's start talking about our favorite parts. Kelly, I'm going to start with you, buddy.
Oh, man. Pressure.
Yeah.
I didn't get to marinate on this like Brittany Ritchie's going to get to marinate.
I know. She's like, pick me last. I have to marinate.
Oh, man. Jeez. Jeez Louise. So much. I'm going to be cheesy and just say the whole dang movie was freaking my favorite part.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Like I can't pick just one. There was so much
But that's
awesome.
good. So you really loved this movie.
It was
Kelly.
packed full of awesome.
Yeah. When you were going into it, were you a little bit like, okay, this is going to be good?
I wasn't skeptical, but I mean, because of I heard a lot of people's opinions whom I trust saying it's one of the best movies they've seen. I've been like, okay.
Yeah.
Then I had higher hopes and it met my expectations.
Cool.
So that's good.
Yeah.
That's all I can say because it was just chock full of badassery.
Yeah.
I mean, there was great humor, great
It's true.
action. I can't pick a favorite.
Yeah. I loved it.
Taking the easy way out.
All right,
Sorry.
what you got? You can start jumping into spoilers now.
Wow. Okay. I guess my favorite parts are the more obvious ones, were the battle scenes. One, the battle scene in Themyscira.
Good job. Ding, ding.
Thank you. I practiced that one. So that one, and the other was when she was in America. I guess is that accurate to say?
No, World War I didn't take.
She was
place
in England.
America.
Oh, she was in England.
Yeah.
That's right. Sorry.
In the real
All the
world.
history guys are like,
Wait, I don't know if I even watched the movie. Hold on, let me. No, yeah, that's right. So when she was in Europe,
Yeah.
and then the battle scenes there. As well,
I think-
okay.
No Man's Land.
No Man's Land. That's what it was. yeah.
France? Is that where that?
We come from France.
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 We are from
We are from France.
Gotta go on that one.
Yeah. It's the Conehead movie. Got
Wasn't that France? Where the
was.
No Man's Land?
Yeah, they were.
I believe so. Yes, that's
well,
where the
Germany weren't they partially?
Yeah,
No
there's
Man's Land?
occupation.
Belgium?
Maybe.
Anyways,
I don't
maybe
know.
Belgium. That's
I
like a
gotta watch
mixture
it
between
again.
Germany and
Part of-
France.
yeah.
Geography wasn't my strong
Somewhere in
point
between.
Yeah.
in school.
Where she fought the bad guys.
Yeah, but why didn't the guy have an accent like Chris Pine?
that's on my list.
Because
See, that's
Chris
that's
Pine
one
wasn't.
thing, and I
He
was
was an
kinda-
American.
He was an American,
Right.
but he was
For-
spying for the British.
So
Yeah.
this is why it kind of threw me off. I'm like, what the heck is happening
but
here?
he said
You
that.
just
He's
thought he
all-
was like a really
he says-
horrible actor.
He's all
Like,
he's
come
all,
on,
I'm a-
dude, you're not even trying.
I'm an American soldier working for the British.
Got it.
That kind of
But
painted the
then,
picture.
yeah, okay.
But then he was pretending to be German. There was a lot of
Yeah.
stuff he was doing.
Yeah, I was
He had
a little
that over the
confused,
top German accent
Yeah.
when he was chewing out
But I think that
the
was
dude
good.
as his driver. That
I
was
think
so great.
Yeah.
Oh no, that was
I like
fantastic.
the pipe. The pipe kept being crooked.
But you're right. It was
Yeah.
very clear that they were in Europe.
Yeah.
So got it.
Yeah. Okay. So what I loved. What did you say? What you were gonna say? Anybody say? I didn't want to cut anybody off.
About my favorite part?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
is it my turn?
Go
Go
for it.
It is now.
You were saying stuff. and
What's your
then-
favorite part?
Like Kelly said, all of it.
Yeah.
Yes. I mentioned on the other podcast that I loved the ice cream scene, just the simplicity of it, and they had little nuggets sprinkled throughout the movie
Yeah.
of humor and stuff. But her reaction and it showed. I think it really wrapped her up in a nutshell of how naive she is. I mean, she's on an island with nothing but women. She has no idea about this other world and these people and
Yeah.
how life is there. So she's like a little kid coming into a world she's never been around before. And then the weight of the world on her shoulders, got to save the planet. And just the simple pleasures of ice cream. Like,
Yeah.
good job. You should
Which
be
we can
so
all agree on.
proud. Yeah. And it
like
just
ice
showed her almost kind of like, okay, I could do this. I could be in this world. I was sad leaving home and leaving my family and the only world I've ever known, but I could do this.
Yeah.
Like, it was like that turning point in my head anyway, where it was her like, I'm committed now. Like, I'm
Yeah.
in it to win it. I mean, she was before. I mean, she brought her sword and her shield and stuff. She's doing damage, but yeah.
So I liked quite a few things.
Welcome
I
to Marinated Thoughts. With
Well marinated.
Okay, so I mean, the storytelling was great. The character development, serious things, versus funny things. I love the scene when she's trying on all those clothes and she like does the really good squat and she's like, and then she rips it. And she's like, this isn't gonna work. I mean, that's not the exact quote.
How do women fight in these things?
There you go. And I think all of us do that. You know, you get a new pair of jeans, you got to give it a good squat.
Yeah.
True. You know, and then like the scene where her and Chris Pine are on the boat.
Yes.
And, oh my gosh,
So that scene was ad-libbed.
Was it really?
Oh my gosh.
Nice.
It felt like it. It was so good.
So natural, huh? It was
That's even more
was like a
impressive
really-
for him.
Good awkward.
She made up the thing about the 6 volumes of
I don't
whatever.
know, like they said that scene was ad-libbed. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure maybe
Like how
she went
much
into
of
some
it?
research about
Yeah. She
like,
probably had a
you know,
plan.
the Greek histories and stuff. Maybe but from what they said is like some of the stuff on the boat was ad-libbed.
Cool.
So, I
That's
don't know.
really
makes me
impressive
like
from
it.
his point of view too, because he not only had like this charm and this like kind of endearing like befuddlement of just like what's going on right now, but like it felt really true to the period.
Yeah.
Like it didn't feel like 2017 Chris Pine. It felt like how a guy like in the early 20th century would like engage with like, well, that's neat. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like,
that was good.
and so I just thought like the way
Yeah.
his character
True.
acted in that way, it never pulled me out of World War One.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. And then I love just the music in the movie. You know, we talked about that on the last show, but I thought it was so well developed from beginning to end, even to Sia's To Be Human. Our girl Florence wrote that. And another guy, I can't remember
So
his
that
name.
song explained because I didn't see that part.
That played
I
in the
left before
end
the credits
credits.
started. I was
Yeah.
like, there's no end
There's no
credit
end
scene.
credit
I'm
scene.
out.
You're out.
So there was a song that
To
Yeah.
be human is to love is like one of like the main lines, and that
It's
was
like
just
the theme song
The
for the
theme,
movie.
yeah,
Oh,
and
wow.
and even in Wonder
missed
Woman
that.
when
There you
she
go.
was
You missed
talking
it.
about loving
Yeah.
people, and that was really good.
yeah.
Instrumentation was really great, so that was
Score
great.
was
yeah.
awesome.
My
Yeah.
top 2 would be storytelling and music.
Yeah.
I thought the villains were pretty incredible.
Yes.
Like I wasn't shocked by the twist at the end.
Yeah.
Like I was like, oh yeah, that makes sense.
they were setting it up to make you think it was what's his
Oh yeah,
name?
it was just so obvious that it was the German guy. Where I'm like, yeah, there's no way. No,
Kelly
but
called
Doctor.
it ahead of time.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did not
Because it made
catch that.
it.
He's
made you feel
really
like it was gonna
good
be
at that
Ludendorff,
stuff.
And then because he was like, why is he taking these like crazy venom Bane pills? And then I feel like it's Bane pills. You know? So he's
Bane.
like, oh, it's a precursor to Bane, but he's just like, no, I'm just strong, and they made it feel like, oh, it's gonna be him.
He's gaining his
It's gonna
power
be
because
him.
they did say when Hippolyta was talking about the history at the beginning, telling the story, she did talk about how Ares like was weakened and that kind of stuff. And so once he talks about like renewing his strength kind of thing, I'm like, oh, like it could be. I mean, I feel like it's a little obvious, but okay. Like I kind of went along with it. I was more actually referencing Dr. Poison. I thought she was really cool.
Dude.
I think she could have been
Yeah.
used more, but just
Yeah.
her look and everything, I was just like, she
Super
is
creepy.
so cool.
I mean, woman
What a
power the
creepy
whole way through
villain.
this.
Yeah.
You have your villain that's a woman.
Yeah.
I mean, kind of,
Oh,
right?
you just wait for
Like-
Cheetah Girl.
Okay.
Cheetah girl.
Not Cheetah Girl, but Cheetah, comma, girl.
or like something about like
I was
Yeah.
like, Cheetah Girl? I
Dr.
haven't seen that
Moreau.
comic ever.
Yeah, that
Merciful
thing on
Manor.
her face. So that's just a cool look.
Yeah.
But then even like her like raspy voice and like the look in her eye, like everything
Yeah.
about her, I was
Yes.
like, this is a really compelling villain. To where I would say Ludendorff always felt to me like,
Yeah.
like you're a little too obvious, you're a little too on the nose. But then that made me really like that Sir Patrick ended up being Ares. Like I wasn't surprised by it, but I liked that.
Yeah.
And I was like, of course, like his whole thing is like bringing up the like nuance of how bad men are. Like not like it's not super obvious. Like, oh, like you're under the control of Ares and that's why you're fighting. Like, no, they're fighting because
Yeah.
they're men and because they have this nature. And I think him just talking about like, I'm just exploiting their nature. Like I'm not making them
Yeah.
do anything.
Right.
I felt like that is like the apex of like Diana's arc out of like her hold on. Wow.
Naivety.
Naivete.
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 Dude, my brain just came to a screeching halt right then.
We're all like wide-eyed.
What is he gonna say?
The arc to her naivete, like that you see like the whole movie, that's kind of the moment where it's kind of broken and she's like, oh, and her eyes are open and it's like, that's when you really find out like, what is she going to be made of? What's going to happen now?
It sets it up too, because I kept thinking, okay, this is World War I.
Yeah.
She kills Ares, and then what? There's no more war.
Yeah.
Like,
no, well, that's the thing. Like, remember in Batman vs Superman, she's like, I left man's world because, what she said something like where she said she vowed never to return, or whatever, like that.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of it had to do with spoilers here. Steve Trevor died. Like, she lost this great love that she had because of war, and then war still happening. She thought she can end war, and it didn't happen. Even though there was a victory at the end, you know, she didn't end up having the outcome that she thought it would be.
Right.
So I think that's why she kind of pulls herself from like being a part of any other like situations. Like, she's all, forget these fools. They're always going to like be fighting.
Right.
I can't step in anymore
But
until doomsday.
She also had some like perspective in the end. So she ended up not so naive in the end.
Yeah.
Even when she
you can see that even in that victory
Right.
as they're walking through and seeing the pictures, like you see that in her. Even in her, she's not even saying anything. You just see it in her face. Like she like has this new understanding.
Well, even before that, so when she was fighting Ares, one of the lines she said was, and it was like a realization of, you know, of all of the Amazonian warriors, how they were continually telling her that man doesn't deserve you. And in the end, as she was fighting Ares, she said, no, they don't. And he even said to her, they don't deserve you. And she said, no, they don't. But I don't fight because they deserve it. I fight because of love. And I think that's just the epitome of who Wonder Woman is. Hello. Yeah. No. So that was her realization there. And so that, you know, that's where she became aware of what her purpose is.
Yeah.
It's not just because they need
That-
her.
Remember her mom said that too, like, they don't deserve you.
to that, you said it way better than I could have. But like at that moment, and it was like a coming of age story for me too. I mean, because how old was she? I mean,
she had to have been like
and-
hundreds of years old.
I mean, in relation to like,
but she was like young though. She was
She's
probably
young.
like young
Right.
20s maybe.
But
Right.
she's
you know?
naive because of her experiences, not because of her age. She's naive because she's never been off this island.
It's only because of what she's told.
To witness the
Yeah.
realities of what war and what man has done, that's devastating to her. So she doesn't understand it. And she sees it as so black and white, as if, I'm going to stop this. All I have to do is stop Ares, and everything will be back to normal, you silly men.
so that in the back of my head, I kept thinking, would that have been, I mean, I guess for the plot and the storyline, like it had to happen this way, but would it have helped her? Would it have changed the events or the outcome if her mom would have told her? If she would have been given the truth of what it's really like out there and what her purpose is, or
What she is.
what she
Yeah, what
is,
she
where
is,
she
yeah.
came from. You know, like I know she said that it's, if she knows, he'll find her faster, which makes sense, and she's just doing it to protect her. But at the same time, she's sending her out into this world that, like, equip her with a little bit more.
Yeah.
Like I feel, I guess just talking from a mom now, not from a comic book movie, but that scene where, man, tears was like, you're my greatest love, and today you're my biggest sorrow.
It's okay.
Like, I don't know. That was just one of my questions, one of my thoughts going around, that how would this have been so different if she would have just had a little bit more info about the world that she was in and where she came from and stuff.
Yeah, I think Hippolyta knew, like, she's going to be okay because she does have this kind of, like destiny, you know? And
I guess.
so I think she knew it was like she's going to find out. But some of the stuff that watching it the second time, it was kind of cool seeing how Sir Patrick, if you knowing that he's Ares, to see how he's more willing to let her closer. You know, like, oh, let her in. You know, it's kind of because he's observing. He's like learning. Oh, look at her. and he's knowing.
Do you think he knew?
Oh yeah, I think he knew. As
Yeah.
soon as
Oh,
he
yeah.
saw her,
As soon as he saw her.
I think it was like, that's the.
See, I have to see it again.
Yeah, when we watched it a
She's
second
the
time,
God
I was
killer.
watching for that,
Yeah.
and I really noticed how he jumped up and said, "Oh, you can do it in my office. Use my office, and
Yeah.
oh, you can use my communication systems, and
Yeah.
all of those sort of things." He's, "Oh, and this is where you want to be. You need to be
Yeah.
at this firework event."
Yeah.
I was suspect. I saw right through it when they're like, "We have no way of getting there," and he's like, "Oh, hey, here's some money. Go ahead, go."
Yeah.
You know,
I didn't think it was gonna be him. I didn't think it was gonna be Danny Houston. Ludendorff. I thought it was gonna be a different twist. I just didn't know because they kind of said, he's this, but he's not that. And so
just like that.
my only thing with Ares is, I like that Ares. I just didn't like how he looked. I wish that this old man visage would have faded.
Yes.
And he wouldn't have had the goofy mustache.
I had
Yes.
such a hard time taking it seriously because all I could picture was Harry Potter's professor.
Is that who he is?
Yeah.
He's
I don't
in
know
Harry
anything about
Potter.
him.
He's Professor Lupin, and I feel
Yeah.
like any movie he's ever in, I'm like, that's what I see.
Yeah.
The
Or
only
like
part that
when
was
the
cool is
camera-
when he took his fingers and
Yeah.
Made the mask.
Yeah.
mask. I was like,
cool.
Dude, that
that's
was
pretty
cool.
metal.
Yeah, then
But
it was
then other
believable.
And then he kept like making his own swords and like
That was
weapons
cool.
and stuff.
Yeah.
But I would say, I mean, because that kind of transitions a little bit, I guess, to some of the stuff. Like the very
Sorry,
few
there is
things.
a train in the back.
Very few things.
It is what it is.
Yeah,
Deal
no,
with
it's
it,
fine. I was
folks.
just letting
It's
people know.
Aries.
It's Aries. Oh, he's all Aries Express fools.
It's Harry Potter.
But I would say, just out of the few things that like stuck out to me is like, maybe that wasn't the best, even though I loved the movie overall. Was it just whenever you get to a big battle with two superpowered people that
Yeah.
are like doing all this crazy stuff, I feel like I get lost sometimes. Like it's hard to keep track of what's happening.
Yeah.
And I think I felt that way a little bit. And then I would also, somewhat related to that, the CGI at the very beginning of the movie, when all of the Amazons are training and stuff like that, like felt like super fake. And I was like,
Really?
that doesn't look like real people at all.
I didn't think that at all. Really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it looked really.
I
Those
thought they
only-
looked real.
I would
know,
say
it
those
didn't
and
look
all of
real.
the excessive
It
use
didn't?
of slow motion.
No, I think it did. But what
Yeah.
did not look real, what looked like total CGI, was when Professor Lupin all of a sudden had a hot bod. Can we just say that for 1 second? Yeah. Like they looked down and I'm like,
no, I was thinking that.
Come
like,
on
did
now.
he
That's why they should
like
just use somebody else. He could have his
prep and get ready for this movie for that one scene?
when he turned into a
or-
beefcake.
but then his face,
man.
his face was still his face.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So did you know that some of the Amazons that they use, they're actually like athletes. They
Oh,
pick
yeah, you
famous
could tell.
athletes.
Yeah.
They picked famous athletes and like Olympians and
I didn't
people
know
who-
that. That's really
So
cool.
that was
Except
really
for
cool.
freaking Robin Wright. that
I was just
like,
gonna say,
owned it
can
like
we-
a
Dude, okay.
boss.
Can we talk
Yeah.
about her for a sec?
Yeah, talk
Gosh,
about
Goals
her
when
because
I get that.
I believed that this was a warrior woman that's seen a ton of wars and lived
Yes.
through it. Like I just believed that when I saw her.
Yes.
yeah.
Oh,
So-
she was
All of them.
fantastic.
Yeah,
All of them.
All
Yeah.
of them, but
Robin
especially
Wright?
her. Like
Yeah.
you could just see in her, I'm like, oh, you're like, you've been through it.
The real
Like, you
deal.
know.
Girl.
So while we're talking about them,
that
The Amazons.
one of the things I was I kept thinking about, well, not kept, but like once or twice. They were created to protect, right? And watch over, and
Yeah.
I kept thinking they're the moms, they're maternal. They were sent on this world or earth, whatever you want to call it, to protect the people that need protecting.
yeah.
And they're all just badass moms.
When it's time. Well, okay, so here's spoilers for another.
So I don't know background or history.
Okay,
I was
so
thinking that you
they're
guys could shed some light on that.
They have said that Connie Nielsen and Robin Wright are going to be in Justice League.
Cool.
So probably, I'm imagining
Like a
that
flashback?
It's a flashback scene because in the trailer you see like a bunch of Amazons and Atlanteans like fighting something. So I'm imagining they've kind of pushed whatever dark side forces that were coming against the world. They've said that like, oh, it's going to be about a story that kind of spans time. So I'm guessing that. So I'm guessing that there is a story that will encompass that later. So
Can you explain? And this is where I was totally confused. First of all, when the warship entered this, like that, what would you call it? Like a force field,
field or
to
invisible-
enter
where they
Yeah.
crossed
paradise.
into
Their
the world.
cloaking
When
device.
they,
or whatever.
whatever, which is pretty much what it was.
Yeah.
First of all, I thought, how did nobody else find this? Like, how did they
Right.
just happen upon it? And nobody else found it. And then
Deep
second
in the
of all,
ocean somewhere.
yeah, but
Bermuda
this
Triangle?
warship found it. I mean,
Yeah. Well, because
I mean,
Yeah.
how did so a plane was able to fly through
Yeah.
this cloaking device?
Just
Yeah.
chance. I don't know.
You know,
Happenstance.
so at that point, I was kind of like, wait a second, that happened too easily. And then second of all, what is it? Are they two different worlds? Are they two different countries? Like, I
I feel
what
like
does
it
that
was
mean?
there. I think it was just hidden.
Yeah,
like it was
it's-
like a magic.
it's a magical
kind of
place.
thing.
So like a magical place in Europe.
Like the
No.
gods.
Like,
No, it's in the ocean
In the
somewhere.
ocean somewhere.
An ocean. The gods
Okay.
created it. Zeus created
Yeah,
it.
it's just. I mean,
Got
it's like
it.
Bermuda Triangle stuff. You can't think of it. It's not real. It's not you have to kind of give some of those story beats a pass, or else
Wait,
you're
it's
gonna
not
be,
real?
Yeah. But
Hold on.
If you're looking for a
Show's
scientific
over.
Wait a
reason,
second.
they could have took 15 minutes to explain it, or like just let it go.
That's
like, oh,
true.
okay, because
Right.
what was cool is when you put his hand through it, it was bright and shiny,
Right.
and everything, and so that was kind of neat.
Okay, so I don't know anything about the comics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Has that happened before?
It's
Well,
hard
Steve
to
Trevor.
find. I don't know if it's like
Yeah, it's
an
hard to
invisible
find.
shield or anything like
I mean,
that.
Steve Trevor has made it there before. So in comics, it's always been a World War II is her story.
Okay.
So World War I they changed it, which actually makes more sense, I think, because this is the first big World
war,
War and
yeah.
machines and things like
Yeah.
that. Bringing her in at that time makes a lot of sense. And I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
they're trying to keep it away from like Captain America, Civil War, like not Civil War, World War II, like style, like comparisons. So I think that it was a really great like change in the story, like especially for the film. I think it makes sense
Yeah.
to do World War I, have Steve Trevor in there. I thought it worked really well bringing him in that way.
Is it okay? So we don't know if it had happened before. I kept thinking that it was the timing of it. It was fate. Like this is the war is happening.
Yeah.
She needs like it's her time, her coming of age. It's the God Killer needs to go and do her thing. It's time.
Yeah.
So there's like this ripple in time and space or whatever, and
Yeah.
that's
I mean-
why all of a sudden things are outside stuff's coming in.
Some good plot points and
Planning.
it's good planning. I mean, for the purpose of telling
That's how
a story.
I took
yeah.
it. That's
yeah.
what I thought why it was happening.
Yeah,
But-
I mean, it could have. I mean, I said before that it could have taken place in, Desert Storm. It could have worked in any different timeline. I just think it works best in like an earlier time when things are a little less like complicated, and because
Yeah.
her naivety works really great in a not so complicated world, because now it's even more like what the heck, like she'd be even more confused. So
Well, and especially in that time, she comes from an island of badass women that
Yeah.
rule the world, and now she's stepping into this time where they can't talk. They're not welcome in a room with other. I mean, they can't.
exactly.
Yeah.
Vote.
And that's so much
Like,
better than if it was now. Then it'd be like, oh yeah, you can be in here.
It wouldn't have had as much of an impact.
Yeah, her
Hey, what's up?
interactions,
Yeah, what's up, girl?
all of her interactions with Etta Candy
Yeah.
were
Etta Candy was
wonderful.
great. Yeah, she was
Yeah.
great.
Loved her.
Yeah. What'd you guys think about
Fisticuffs.
fisticuffs?
Fisticuffs.
I like her little like pose. What do you guys think about Chris Pine and his like little ragtag bunch of losers?
I love Samir.
Yeah.
Oh, the interaction with him and Gal Gadot when they were
was
speaking
great.
in different languages back
Yes.
and forth.
That
That
and
was
That was
really
cool.
good.
da-da-da-da. What about ancient blah 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 blah.
Ancient Greek or whatever.
I love that part because I love when he's like, and you speak English. That was Steve Trevor in the cave, and she was like, I know like whatever, like 15
Yeah,
languages.
There's
Yeah.
hundreds, I think.
Hundreds, I know hundreds of languages. That was cool because it got that whole like that was
1500.
It showed it.
that's what I was thinking. I was like, how are they gonna like do this? Like, oh, she speaks English. Like, I thought it was gonna be something dumb. Like, oh, we know all languages. But it was good that they covered that. Like, there you go. So all the actresses kind of spoke with an accent based on
Her.
Gal
Based on
Gadot's
her.
That was
Which
another
was
one of my
interesting.
favorite
Yeah.
things that I made a
Her
note.
like Israeli
that
accent.
I loved
Yeah.
that they all spoke
the same way.
whatever.
Yeah.
But that irritated me that the Germans spoke English.
Yeah.
Have subtitles or
Yeah,
something.
that
When
was
they were
my only-
talking to each other and they were just
Yeah.
talking in English, I'm like, come on, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There were subtitles in some parts.
No.
No.
Wasn't there? I thought there were
Nope.
subtitles.
Not an
Nope.
ounce of them. That's. I mean, that was the only thing. Like that's
little
what
things.
in the middle of the movie, I leaned over to her and I was like, "Yeah, and Germans speak English." Because I would have preferred to read subtitles to keep it in context, but that's just me. That's where my brain goes sometimes, especially in everything else is pretty realistic. Like the war, like the guns they're using, like all the machinery and everything. The planes were all period accurate.
Yeah.
But the Germans are speaking English.
Maybe they had to learn English to talk to the soldiers.
Would that have cost more money?
Someone's got to type those words out.
Yeah.
You know, I really liked the chief.
Yeah.
Yes.
The chief was my favorite.
Like his whole like attitude and personality was so great because it was so different than the other guys. The other guys are like, "Yeah, war," you know, and he's like,
he was
nah.
a war profiteer. He was like, "I'm gonna make."
Yeah,
money
he was like,
on
"Well,
this."
I'm going to make money off of all you
Yeah.
jokers." And I think even the moment where he was like, "Yeah, I don't have anything because, you know, they stole all the stuff from my people." And she was like, "Who did?" And he was like, "His people." And I was like, that
Burn.
felt like it felt like a good moment that didn't feel like forced necessarily, but it was like, oh crap, like no, like that's
true.
going to
That's
mean
true.
something to her too, because she's still learning about Steve and he's still new to her. And so she's like, hold on, your whole people like took out his people? Why? Like what does that have to do?
Yeah,
and so
yeah.
I think it was this like building block in her kind of progression.
Yeah.
And then Charlie was just really ugly and wonderful.
Oh, okay.
He was the saddest character in the whole.
You know what? I
movie to
love
me,
Charlie
but I
because-
loved him.
You know how he had this problem shooting his gun, right?
Yeah.
Well, the part that I loved so much is when Wonder Woman and Steve Trevor are dancing in the snow, right? Dude,
Yeah.
that part was beautiful.
It was.
And
really was.
what made it amazing was that Charlie is playing the piano, and they're like, he hasn't played in forever.
Or sung.
And I was like,
Hasn't sung in years, and he was singing.
And he was singing, yeah. Like, that's what he does. He's not a marksman. He's a freaking musician. And that
It was all of his
perfect.
bravado with the talking about guns, talking about
yeah.
killing
Like he
people,
ain't
talking
got
about that
none?
stuff.
Yeah.
But then what got him to still continue to go with him, and when she was like, "But who's going to sing for us?"
Yeah.
And you really see the reality of PTSD, which
Yeah.
our poor, soldiers, that's their reality. And
Yeah.
I thought that was so wise of Patty Jenkins to put that in the movie. And,
Yeah.
music is something that can help people,
Yeah.
process all of that. And I thought that
Word.
was so beautiful and well done.
Yeah.
I didn't even think of that.
Yeah. I
You're
love
so
those characters because
insightful.
you didn't get a whole bunch from them, but you did get a sense of kind of who they are. And I love the part at the end where like Wonder Woman saves the day and they're all huddled, like hugging each other. Like they survived this great ordeal and it was really cool. Like
I was convinced one of them was going down.
Yeah, me
but
too.
I thought
But when they're
someone was
all
dying.
huddled and they look like they're all going to
Samira was gonna
die,
die
I'm
'cause-
like, oh.
like I knew Steve Trevor was gonna die.
Yeah.
You just knew he was
Okay,
gonna
but
die.
Steve, you could have waited like 15 minutes and then she could have, done a cannonball on that airplane for you or, I don't know, taken care of it.
But I think
It had to
that
happen.
it
That's
had
my
to happen.
question. Why
'Cause
did he have to die?
She had to have her heart break and realize
Yeah.
this is why I'm fighting. This
I
is
know. Just sometimes I want a movie to end, really happy and lovey
Just
and butterfly.
and happy with
Then
people
what
together
happens-
for crying out loud.
But then
Could
what
have ended
happens
in the
is
snow.
Steve Trevor grows old and dies. and
That's
she's
true.
like, well, that sucks.
And it is like, if
Well, I
think that was great because that was what Burgundy
Sorry.
was talking about on part one, like the quote that he uses, like when he encourages her.
Yeah.
Just of like, I can save the day, but you can save the world. And I think that
Oh,
was such a
good.
cool aspect where like it never felt out of balance to me, the connection between Steve and Wonder Woman. It never felt like he had to like, oh, you're a woman, let me save you.
Yeah.
But also it wasn't the other side where like, you're just a dumb man and I know everything either. But it was this partnership that seemed
So
really
good.
wonderful.
Yeah, that was good because it was cool because he's just a he's an above average male. Like you said, I'm above average. Hey,
That was the only nudity
I would
we had
say-
too.
yeah, and
Which was
barely,
really interesting.
That part was really funny. She's
Just
like,
the
"You let that
dude.
little thing control you," and he's like,
Oh, the watch.
"A watch." It's so funny. Like the innuendo there was really funny. You're like, "Dang."
That was funny.
She's like, "What is that?" He's like, That was good. But what's cool is that she's this powerful god, right? And he's just this mortal dude, and they're both able to help each other in different ways. Really, it was just such a really cool like relationship because in no way was he intimidated by her power, and in no way was she looking down upon him because he was a mortal man. That never came into it. It just was like,
But she didn't know that she was.
well, no, she knew she had. I think she knew she had some type of like skills.
But she didn't know she was a
surprised.
god.
She didn't know.
No, she didn't know she was like. So she was just like
I don't know.
power bands. Like I thought that was cool. So she. Oh man. Okay, so talk about the best scene in the movie, which was No Man's Land.
Yes,
That part right there was goosebumps and
Yes.
tears and everything. That was amazing.
dude. When she turned around, she had her headband, whatever,
Yeah.
headpiece, whatever.
Oh yeah, she put Antiope's.
Yeah.
By the way, Antiope, that scene. Oh
That was a tearjerker.
yeah.
Terrible. Wonderful.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. That No Man's
That's
Land.
like when that was happening, I was like,
Yeah.
it's gonna happen, guys. It's gonna happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's happening.
Dude, she's.
And it was just nonstop.
It was awesome.
She just handles business all the way across there,
Yeah.
through the town, and then, but she still needs her
so
guys. She
good.
still needs her boys, you
Yeah.
know? And then
Yeah,
they,
she had the
they
backup.
grab that door and they say shield, and she
Yeah.
just jumps up and gets some
that was so
marksman.
cool.
That was awesome.
So
Dude, I
good.
don't care how many times I've seen it in like trailers and stuff, but her breaking a rifle across her back
Oh,
is
yeah.
awesome every single time.
Yeah. Like, dude, that fight scene at the end, where, like, while she's fighting Ares and she's like zipping across like the battlefield and just like taking fools out, that was awesome too.
So good.
It was all awesome.
Yeah, it
the
was all
time.
awesome, but there was just so many like cool parts. If you look back and like, oh man, that was awesome. That was awesome.
I can't remember what part it was. If it was on the battlefield or if it was like inside one of the buildings. But there's a part where like she's kind of like hunched over and you see like just her back and her shoulder muscles just kind of like kind of heave and contract a little bit, and it's kind of like, all right, round 2 or whatever, like let's go. And when she's on the actual battlefield and she's like, what's like crouched, I don't know, whatever, and
Yeah,
she's
yeah,
got
I
the
know.
shield and she's like just her stance, like, sorry, with
Yeah.
the microphone.
No, it's
I'm
good.
actually acting it out. You can't see
acting
me.
it
I'm
out.
doing the stance right now.
Christy is in the Wonder Woman stance.
I need
at
a
this moment.
shield and a knife for Christmas, everybody.
Yeah, there you go. A shield.
I mean, a sword, not a knife. Sword.
But I feel like that too. I'm like, I got to get all my Wonder Woman what's that? The T-shirts and all the stuff. What is that word?
Yeah.
Paraphernalia. Thank you. I was like, the stuff. I got to get all that stuff while it's out now.
Dude, I bought Berg like a Wonder Woman hoodie, like WonderCon like 2 years ago,
Oh yeah.
and then
Oh, nice.
Well, from the
so I
sound
gotta-
of things, you
I gotta
can raid Matt Ritchie's closet. He's got all the outfits.
he's got the Wonder Woman. Hey!
Sorry, Dave. It's the joke that keeps
That
on.
is-
giving.
that is- just keep going.
Keeps on giving.
If nobody gets that, that's actually from the first podcast.
Yeah, episode
Inside jokes.
38 of Let's Go podcast.
Yeah.
Starring Justin and Kelly.
Jokes
so
and jokes.
Let's start wrapping up a little bit here. I know we're getting a little pressed for time. So, any final thoughts on the movie Burgundy?
Final thoughts.
Final thoughts and rating.
Yeah, final
Oh,
thoughts
and
and your rating.
Oh, must go. Wait, is that
No,
one?
Got
that's
it.
not this show.
Gotta go. Yeah, no, it's such an awesome movie. I think it speaks to everybody in terms of what heroism really is about. I mean, I think whether it's portrayed by a woman or by a man, I
Yeah.
mean, really, it's such a great movie to go to. I don't know if it's so much for kids, only because of the
realities of- yeah.
of war. You know,
Well, there's a lot of people that got
kind of grim,
killed.
yeah, and
Listen, even the part where she's walking across the bridge and there's like
Yeah.
the maimed. It was just
yeah.
bleak. It was that part was super
Oh
realistic.
my gosh, and the kids in the village.
Yeah.
The
and-
mom
Ugh.
explaining
Right.
herself.
Yeah.
You know, please.
Yeah, so that was kind of tough to get through, but I think for the most part, it's definitely a gotta go.
Yeah. Cool. Christy.
I made some notes.
Yeah.
So they're not necessarily on topic, but I just want to make
You
sure
can-
that I
it's
talk
whatever
about
you
it.
want.
It's your final thoughts and rating.
Okay,
Yeah.
final thoughts on rating. Rating for sure. Gotta go, must go, 100,000 times go. I'm kind of referencing, not kind of, I am referencing back to what I mentioned in the other podcast, is that the opening scene with the picture, she
Yeah.
opens it up. I mean, we've seen it in the,
Batman
versus
beats
thank
Superman.
you. So it doesn't evoke certain feelings, or it just is like, oh, that's what happened
Yeah.
a long time ago.
Yeah.
She was a badass back then too, and did a lot of cool stuff to save people. Then seeing the story, like her origin story and her falling in love, and then seeing it again, she probably hadn't thought about him. Well, maybe I'm assuming she hadn't thought about him or that time or reflected on that part of her life in a really, really long time.
Yeah.
So to have it, I don't know, I just had like a totally different feeling walking out of the movie than when I did walking in.
Yeah.
Of just, it was just so well done. I don't know if I'm going to steal your thunder right now. You might be talking about this, but we found out the other day that Gal, her grandparents were Holocaust survivors.
Oh, wow.
So I think that probably had a lot to do with her emotion and just tenderness in those scenes with the villagers and stuff like that.
Even though it's a different war, same enemy.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still, yeah. And then it was coming.
Yeah, the motivation's still there.
Yeah. And then I guess closing thoughts is, I think it's very timely with, she was put on this earth to stop, well, I don't know if that's accurate in my head, put on this earth to stop war and protect mankind. And we're in such a crazy world right now where there's little wars going on all over the place, bombings and killings and fighting and religion, and it's just freaking bonkers.
Yeah.
And just the theme of it of just love one another and take care of one another and break some rifles on your back. Don't shoot them. Kristi out.
There you go.
I wouldn't say drop the mic, but
Don't drop the mic.
these are our assets, so we gotta not do that.
Every time someone says that.
Nice.
Pretend mic drop. Okay. Yeah.
Cool. My final thoughts are, let's see, my rating would have to be Gotta Go. And not only the first time, but the second time. Like, it's going to be a movie I'm going to own and watch again because, and I will tell you, like, you guys don't know me, but I'm like a one-time a movie, you know, I watch a movie one time and I don't.
Saw it. You don't need to do it again.
Not only
She doesn't
that,
understand why I want to watch movies more than once.
Yeah, like you don't
I
want to
think that's a
relive
guy
it,
thing.
or maybe you just want to let it be something good and just let it be a standalone sort of good thing. But this was definitely one that I want to see, want to own, and
Show your girls.
yeah,
Girl.
Yeah.
Whatever.
And then
Your
I
girls.
think, you know, final thoughts. I feel like I've reflected a lot as we've gone. But for maybe guys listening out there, take your girlfriend, take your wife, take your mom, you know, and just
your wife.
don't hide your wife, take your wife. But you know, I mean, I just think it's so good when people work shoulder to shoulder, and you see in the movie, you know, just that sacrifice for love, and that's part of what it means to be human. And like, we're all so much better when we aren't, you know, trying to, you know, get in front of one another, but we just, you know, stand shoulder to shoulder to handle business and get stuff done. And so I think that's my takeaway. I think that Patty Jenkins did an amazing job.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. One more thing.
you
Like
say
at the very end, once like she finally kills Ares and everyone's like hugging, like that weight's lifted. They're smiling like, oh, like, where am I? What just happened? Like, hey, dude, let's hug it out. That was so cool.
Yeah. That was good.
Damn.
Kelly?
Boys.
Gotta go for sure. As everyone's kind of touched on it before, like the social commentary to where it relates in the world now. It's great timing for when this movie was, you know, if they were trying to make it years and years and years ago, I'm glad it was made now.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like it was it's very necessary.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's hard for me to pick a favorite. It's an amazing movie. Our daughter will be watching it multiple times.
Heck yes.
Tomorrow? No.
Yeah, tomorrow.
Maybe.
Yeah, everything about it was amazing. The music, the score, which was done by Rupert Gregson Williams, which I'm assuming has some kind of affiliation or family ties to Harry Gregson Williams, who's done other scoring and soundtracks for like
know
what is
nothing
it?
about that.
Lion,
He
Witch,
did
and
a
Wardrobe.
squad.
And he's
What's
done some Harry Potter.
Something squad.
Suicide Squad.
Suicide Squad.
He did?
Yeah.
What? I didn't know that.
And
There you go.
He's done a couple. He did a couple Harry Potters and Lion,
cool.
Witch, and the Wardrobe. Anyways, neither here nor there. Great score, great music, great movie, and all around gotta go.
Awesome.
Justin?
Me. Well, I really like this movie, man. I was really excited about it and pleasantly not surprised because once the reviews started coming in, like fan screens, I was like, I'm gonna like this movie. I'm gonna love this movie. And after watching it, it was more than I thought it would be. Even after the trailers, you kind of watch them and you kind of piece things together, and it didn't really spoil anything for me. And the things that I did see, like her, coming out, when she was climbing that ladder, that was kind of like this. You knew that was the big reveal of her suit, but it didn't matter that I saw it in a trailer because in the context of the movie, it meant more. It was like her finally shedding that black cloak and like, I'm going out there and I'm going to do things my way. And we didn't really talk too much about this, but I love that she was like, I'm just going to do what's right. And and it never hit that hard, like I'm a woman, I'm going to do this, because that's really what they were saying was like, you can't tell me no, but it never got heavy-handed in that type of commentary of like, I'm this. It was very, I'm going to do what's right, regardless of what you guys say. And it was cool. And that's why I like what you said at the end of the last show. It just made me feel like I can be, my true self, right? It's like,
Yeah, just true to myself.
I just think that was really cool that I'm going to do what's right, regardless of if it's not popular. And I love that she did that. And I'm excited for like, not just even little girls, just anybody to watch this movie and be inspired and be like, that's what superheroes should do. Superheroes should inspire you to do good and to, make changes and to help others. That's what a hero does. A hero helps people and sacrifices and keeps moving.
Selflessly.
Selflessly. And so I really, really love this movie and I want to own it and show my kids that like, hey man, Wonder Woman was cool. So
Did you rate it?
Yeah, I'm going to rate it. Gotta go, must go, gotta go, like the girls have all given it. It is a gotta go from this man.
This man.
Okay, man.
So I would say final thoughts. It feels to me, and probably more nerdy people will get this more than others, is this movie felt to me what Man of Steel hoped to accomplish in a lot of ways.
Okay.
So Man of Steel, you have the main idea for Superman is, hey, like lead these people. They're going to stumble, they're going to fall, but inspire them towards something better. I feel like it didn't quite do that for me. Like I still enjoyed that movie, but retrospect, lots of people argue about it. I'm not going to argue about it here. But to think like Wonder Woman did that for me, even coming out of this movie, to where she had this naivety throughout the movie, and is really cool to see that parallel, her growing out of that naivety to her coming into her powers bit by bit. So when she's like climbing up the side of a thing and can just put her fist through the wall, like you're like, whoa, that's okay. Yeah. To where at the end she's literally holding a tank over someone.
Oh, that was cool.
Which is such a great image. It was such a cool moment and was such a great opportunity to show truly who she is.
Yeah.
I think in that moment, you see, for me, the apex of that was Ares being like, they don't deserve you, all that kind of stuff we've talked about. But for her to say, yes, there is this darkness in them.
Yeah.
But there's more. And I'm like, that's a superhero. That's what Superman was supposed to inspire people toward. That's what these other people are inspiring people toward, is not just because this could have easily been, oh, you silly men, like I'm just going to come in and fix everything and I'm going to save you because you guys all suck. And rightfully so, because they all did.
You silly man.
You silly man. But it was so much more nuanced than that. And it was her coming in and doing that. Like she did, there was an aspect of that, but then there was an aspect of her saying, but like, I'm going to believe that there's better in you guys. And there are those glimmers of hope. And I think you have that moment, you have even paired along with that ending, like after Ares is defeated, even what stuck out to me and struck me both times we've seen it was all the German soldiers taking off their masks, and they're super, super young.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're all relieved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh man, okay. Like, thank God this is over.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, what an inspiring thing to be like. There were sacrifices that got us here. There were hard choices to get us here, but realizing like, yes, there is this bad part of us, but there's more in there too. And how do we find that?
Did they say that? I feel like it was never actually spoken. I know there's
She
a
did.
few pieces where I guess I was just expecting Steve to say it. Like she kept talking about
I'm pretty
how
sure she did in
horrible
response to
everybody
Aries.
was, but I was just waiting for someone to say, but there's good in them too. There
I
are
think
terrible, stupid
she
people
said
out there,
that.
He said that. He said it to her on the ladder. He was like, "I'm terrible, but there's
Okay.
goodness
Okay.
as well."
Yeah.
Like, so.
But she did actually say that line though to Aries,
Okay.
like before she
Mm-hmm.
destroyed him. She was
Okay.
like, yes, like, because he's telling her like, look at Dr.
You're right.
Poison,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
there's
yeah,
all
yeah.
this horrible, like you
Yeah.
can crush her.
Yeah.
But
I guess it.
She's
it
like,
didn't
yes,
come
there's
out
that,
the
but
way
there's
I
more.
Wanted
Yeah.
to hear it.
Because remember, she was replaying what Steve said to her in
Yeah.
her head.
Yeah.
And like the love thing triggered. her,
Yeah.
so. Awesome. So what was your rating, buddy?
I really want to go along and be unanimous. So I'll do that. I would say, because I know I always get stuck
He's
with
touching
more
me
than one
now.
choice.
He's touching me.
I am.
Would you not put
Appropriately.
it as a gotta go?
I would say what it does and what it is and what it accomplishes is a gotta go 100%, like without
Okay.
reason. Looking at technical aspects of the movie, there were parts of it for me that dock it a little bit, but only a little bit. Like I'm telling you, like
From like the
the-
comic book nerd point of view.
no, just from a
Okay.
movie point of view. Like
Okay.
I don't have. a
Oh
lot of-
man. can't
I think because I think there was CG stuff that was a little wonky at times. I liked that they changed the accents of the Amazons,
Yeah.
but I think some people did it better than others.
That's
Yeah.
true.
And I think there's just little tiny things to nitpick that I would say
Okay.
might keep it from a gotta go. But I will say, just if we're going on what it accomplishes, what this movie does, and what it
Overall.
represents, a gotta go for sure.
There's this one scene I have to talk about that drove me crazy.
thought we were done.
I know it was right when they poisoned all the generals and stuff. Like Ludendorff and Dr. Poison, she's like, they can't use the mask. And he's like, it's like they're like, I don't know,
Okay, I actually know
illegal
that.
cartoon.
That was like a very like it felt appropriate for the period. It was almost like a throwback to like pulp, like
Yes,
like detective
yes,
stuff.
it
To like,
was.
but they can't use it.
was terrible. It was just like, they're rubbing their hands.
I kind of loved
And
that.
twisting their mustaches like, we've got them. Anyways, that was it. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for listening to the Let's Go Comic Show.
Thank you to our
episode
lovely wives to being
number
here.
16. Yeah, thank you to our wives. If anyone wants to check you guys out, not in that
Whoa.
way.
Nope,
but find
they
you on
don't.
social media.
It's not okay.
It wasn't me. I didn't say it.
It was the other Richie.
Where can people find you?
So you can find me at.
Who are you?
Oh, hi. I'm Burgundy. Hello. Welcome back. Yeah, you can find me at Berg Rocka on social media. You can also find me at adykdesigns.com. That's a little business I have going there. So come check us out.
If anyone, for whatever reason, wanted to follow Kristi, it's at _. Nope. Told you. Had a beer.
She's
Jeez.
a half a beer.
It's all good.
She's like, wait, who am I?
All _heart. All _heart. Okay.
All right.
And this is Brittany. If you want to follow me on Instagram or social media, it's I just killed it. It's Brittany Ritchie.
Kelly, our handsome guest.
At Kelly _makes_music.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Kelly will make your band sound hot.
Ooh.
Oh girl. All right.
All up on that mic.
Yeah, all up on that mic.
You can, as always, find me on Twitter at Matt Ritchie, MATTRICHEY.
And you can
Bang.
find me at Twitter, at Twitter at Twitter. Hey, Twitter, how you doing? Going great. On Twitter at J
Twitter
underscore
Seinfeld?
Rocka. What's the name? Hashtags. And on Instagram at J Rocka. And if you want to follow the show, go to Let's Go Comic Show on. If you want to follow the show, we are on social media at Let's Go Comic Show. Visit our website at www.letsgocast.com. Go to iTunes and leave us a 5-star review and some positive comments for both shows, because that would be amazing and that helps us out in major ways. And if you want to hear the first part of this 2-part Let's Go Cast Wonder Woman crossover a go-go, please check out Let's Go Cast episode number 38, available on iTunes, Stitcher, and wherever you find amazing podcasts like this one. So, my name is Justin.
I'm Matt.
I'm Kelly.
I'm Burgundy.
Kristi.
And it's Pretty Richie.
Let's go.
Let's go.